Okay, so today basically we are going to talk about character consistency first thing, because that is one of the major things that is like inconsistent right now, and a lot of people are facing issues in that. So let's start from the character consistency. Now, before we move on to the character consistency, let's understand few things about in painting, because I feel like some of the people are not sure about what exactly focus in painting and detail composition is. So just to give you an idea about what these things are and why do we use in painting at certain percentage, let's understand one thing here. So let's say I have a image here. I have a frame. I selected one of the characters and I generated one image. Very simple thing. This is the prompt I used. Simple one image, right? Now, this one image, what I did is, so in painting is basically you mask the character. Like this is what you do. You mask the character. You write a prompt. You select 50% here. Number of images as 4 and you inpaint it. Like this is basic step we do as in painting. So now imagine this same image. Let's just say that instead of inpainting this girl with the same girl character, if I inpaint this girl, let's say imagine I have masked the girl and I've inpainted this girl with the male character. That is this character. This. This is the character. So this is the male character. Now imagine that I have masked this and inpainted, but instead of writing this character's name, I have used a male character here. So now if I inpaint this lady or this female character with a male character at 10% of intensity or strength, it'll give me an image something like this. Now this is because we know that the inpainting happens on top of this image. So it takes this image as a reference and then it tries to change it into the male character. But because the strength was too low, that is 10%, it's like trying to change it to the male character, but it's not exactly changing it to the male character. Like you can see the face of shape is changing, the hair is starting to change, but it's not giving me the very good image because the strength is too low here. Now let's imagine the same thing. If I do the same thing at 50%, what it does here is you can see that the hair starts to change, but because it was long hair here, it started to give me a short hair, but because of this longer hair part here, it gave me something random here, right? It also started to change the way the body looks. In the prompt, I wrote white shirt here. I just changed the dress here. It was a red t-shirt here. It was a white shirt here in this prompt. So now here you can see the shirt also started to change. It's now what it's turning into a shirt instead of a t-shirt. The body structure is changing. The face has almost changed. The hair has almost changed, but still there are issues because it's at 50%. So it's like a combination of this guy plus this girl, right? Now, if imagine same thing, I do it at 100%. So I mask this girl, write a prompt, and inpaint it at 100% strength. Now at 100%, I know that it will give me the perfect male character that I need. In the sense, the male character that I chose here will give me the exact male character because it's at 100%. So it will completely change this girl to this male, but it might affect my pose here because it is at 100%. So at 100%, it's trying to generate an image using this prompt, and because of this, the pose starts to get changed. So now this was the logic behind, when we use celebrities and change them into the Euler character. So I'm talking about the T3 shows that we are working on. So whenever we use a celebrity character and then impaint the celebrity with a Euler character at 50%, this is what happens. It gives us a combination of a celebrity and the Euler character. Now, if I impaint at a higher intensity, if I impaint the celebrity with like the Euler character at 70, 80, 90, 100%, it will definitely give me a better result. But we didn't used to do it earlier because whenever we impaint a character with a higher intensity, it will start changing the pose, it'll start affecting the pose, which we never wanted. So we always used to stick upon 50%, that whenever you'll impaint it at 50%. But now we have something called as pose retention here. So let me explain this. Now imagine this is my image, right? So if I have to impaint it, I'll mask the character, select the male character I need. Let's say this is the character. Now I can impaint it at 100%. The reason is because I have something called as retain composition here. Now what exactly this retain composition does is that it fixes the pose for you. So if you keep the retain composition somewhere around 25, 30, it will not affect your pose. So because the change percentage here or the strength is at 100%, you already know that at 100% or like after 70, 80, it will start giving you a perfect you know character that you need, but it will affect the pose. But because now we have something called as retain composition, it will also not affect the pose. So if I now impaint this male character at 100% with a retain composition of let's say 28% here, it will give me an image something like this. So if you see here, it changed it into the male character. It also changed the dress, the body, everything without affecting the pose. The pose is still same, but we did got the male character here. Yeah, so let me know if we are sure about what exactly is the retain composition is doing and how it's affecting the images. Yeah, perfect. So, okay, also the retain composition is something, try and keep it at somewhere around 25 to 30%. Don't go beyond 30 because the people who are like, who have used storyboards will understand this. What this retain composition does is that this retain composition is nothing but storyboard to comic. So if you start to keep it at 50 or 60%, it might not give you the perfect image you want, because then it will take this line art of this hair and stuff. So keep it somewhere like lower, like 20, 30, approximately keep it at 25, 30. Generally, I keep it between 25 and 30 to get a good result. So ideal scenario, this is what I use. I use Inpainting at somewhere between 70 to 80% of the strength with 25% of retain composition to get a good image. Yeah, so this is what exactly we mean by focus in painting plus retain composition. Let's talk about consistency. Now there are a lot of things to talk about. Like when we say consistency, there are a lot of things, but today we are going to cover head consistency as of now. So now in head consistency, we'll talk about face plus hair. Let's talk about the face consistency first. So in face consistency, again, we have a lot of different things. It can be the shape of the face, the color of the eyes, all the other features of the face, the facial hair on the face. There can be a lot of different things when we say that the face is consistent or not. But these are the three main important things because of which generally a face becomes inconsistent. First thing is the shape of the face. Now, let's say a person is supposed to have a longer face, but in one of the image, you give a shorter face or a circular face, the shape of the face is not matching again. It comes as an inconsistent face, right? Same goes with eye color. It's supposed to be a defined eye color. So you're supposed to give a specific eye color that is, defined for the character. It's supposed to be blue eyes. It's supposed to be blue eyes. You cannot give brown eyes. You cannot give black eyes. Now, how to get it, why exactly all these things change, we'll come to that. We'll learn that, or I'll explain that in a very detailed manner. But let's understand few things here. And facial hair. For men or for male characters, facial hair is something that makes a character very inconsistent. Like for men, especially, facial hair is one of those parts because of which generally a character becomes inconsistent. For female character, it's the hair, like the length of the hair, the style of the hair, or the color of the hair. But for male characters, it's generally the facial hairs. So whenever we talk about all these things, right? First thing you have to understand why exactly these things might, you know, you might get it wrong, or what to do to get it right. So first thing is always choose the right image. I have seen people, missing out on this point, that they choose the wrong image in the first iteration itself. So imagine if you need, let's say that if we are talking about hairs right now, let's just say that I need a side parted hair, right? And I have four options to choose from. Now, out of those four options, if I need a side parted hair and I'm getting two images in side parted hair and two images in middle parted hair, why will I choose the middle parted hair and then struggle to make that middle parted hair to a side parted hair? If I need, let's say my face shape is supposed to be a longer face. So imagine that out of four, one of the image has a little shorter face, or the shape of the face is looking odd. Why will I choose that image at the first point and then struggle to get, this consistent face shape, or the hair length, or the hair partition, anything? So whenever you know that, okay, this is what I require this character to be in this particular face shape, or this is supposed to be the eye color, this is supposed to be the hairstyle, like she's supposed to have like curly hair, she's supposed to have shoulder length hair. So then choose the right image first. Trust me, I've seen a lot of people make this mistake. They choose the wrong image in the first iteration, and then they keep repeating, like in painting, and then they struggle to get the right image. They'll be like, I painted the image four times, but I'm not getting the right image. You'll not get the right image because your base image itself is wrong. So first of all, try to use or choose the right image. Sometimes you'll also feel like out of four images, imagine you have four images. Out of four images, one image has the right body, in the sense maybe the dress and the pose posture is right. In one of the other images, the face is looking right. So then you can also patch the two images together. You can use the head from one image and the body from the other image, patch the two images together and use it. Just use segments and patch it together, or take it to Photoshop and patch it. How you'll patch it does not matter. The thing is that understand that if you have option to choose from a right image, then choose the right image. Don't blindly choose any image. Look for the image that has most of these things covered. Right? Second thing is, so first thing, if you have chosen the right image, perfect. Second thing, Inpaint at start, from today onwards, start Inpainting at a higher intensity. Start Inpainting at 70 or 80% so that you get a better result. Now I'll explain you with example why exactly I'm focusing on this point, that high intensity, high intensity. I'll explain that. But after this, okay. So these 2 points, even after this, sometimes what happens is you'll not get the right image. Now let's take for example, let's say that you got a short hair image. The character is supposed to have longer hair, but the base image that you have on your screen has short hairs. Now if you keep in painting on top of that, not like no matter what intensity you keep or no matter what you do, sometimes you might end up getting the short hair itself. So in cases where even after painting at higher intensity, you are not getting the right result. Like let's say the face shape, it's supposed to be a long face, but you're not getting that long face. You are painting, like you have painted four times, five times, but you're not getting the right face shape. So Or let's say the eye colors, you're in painting but you're not getting the right eye colors. Or let's say the facial hairs, you are supposed to have like a little stubble but you're getting like too much of beard. So then in those cases where in painting at higher intensity is not helping, you're in painting like twice thrice but it's still not giving you a right image, so then use your paintbrush, make changes in your image and then in paint. Don't just keep on in painting on the same image. If something is not working out with one in painting, you have to understand it will not give you the right image with second in painting. If the hair is short and if I've already imprinted it once and it's not giving me a long hair, it will not give me a long hair in second go. So then just pick a brush, just color it, make it a long hair and then in paint so that you get a right, length of hair. Same goes with any of these things. You want a particular shape, you want a particular eye color, you want to remove the beard, you want to add a beard, anything you want specific you're not getting with inpainting, just make the changes and then inpaint. So if you follow these three things, right, or these three steps, most of your things will be solved. Like same goes with hair. So like in hair, when we talk about hair, we talk about four different parts. That is, the color of the hair should be right, the length of the hair should be right, the style of the hair should be right. By style we mean that if it's supposed to be curly, it's supposed to be curly. If it's supposed, the character is supposed to have straight hairs, the character is supposed to have straight hair. If the partition is supposed to be like the middle parted hair, it's supposed to be middle parted hair. You cannot make one image with middle parted hair, then one image with side partition, one image with long hair, one with short hair, one with like let's say a darker brown color, one with a lighter brown shade color. So it cannot be like that. You have to think about all these things, and one thing has to be fixed. If the color is supposed to be this blue, it's supposed to be this blue, right? And in same thing goes here. In case you are not getting things right by inpainting, you'll have to make the changes and then inpaint. Like for example, short hair will not become long by just inpainting. Side partition will not turn into middle partition by just inpainting. So in those cases, you will have to make the changes first and then inpaint. You can't complain that, oh, I did 4 inpaintings on the image, still the hair is short. It will be short, make it long and then inpaint, right? So let's understand whatever I just discussed here. Let's understand all these points with few examples here. So now let's just say this is one of the celebrities, right? Now this is how the celebrity looks. Whenever I write this name, this is how he comes now, and this is the Euler character given for this celebrity. So this is how he comes. Now if you look at these two images, you will see lot of differences here. Like first thing that I can notice is the facial hair here is like way too much compared to the facial hair here. Second thing is this hair, like the hair is bit longer here, it's shorter here. Third thing is the shape of the face, like it is like a very thin face and he has a different shape of face, right? So now I can see that if this is the celebrity I'm using, and if I paint this character on top of this, like these are not very similar characters. Like he is looking way different from him, right? So now imagine that I am painting this image, so I've masked this area. Now here, one point to remember, what I've seen what people do is, they just paint this part. So if they have to paint the face, they will paint it like this. Instead, start painting along with the neck. The reason why is because sometimes you'll see that there is a patch on the neck. It just gives a different color. Like the color here will be different, the color here will be different. So to avoid that, I always try to include the neck part here so that it does not give me a different tones there. Right. Now what I did here is at 50%, like let's say just selected this face, and I wrote a prompt here, selected the character at 50%, I inpainted it. This is what I got. This is the result of this inpainting, right? Same thing I did here. And now this is at like 80% of, like, let's say 80% of change percentage with 25% of retain composition. And this is the result I got here. Now, if I show you like this, if you can notice here, let me just, yeah. So if you can notice here, now this image, let me just take it here so that, yeah. Okay, so now this was the result at 50% intensity or strength. So now if you see, it started to change into this character, but again, it's a mixture of these two characters. If you can see, now the face shape has not changed, the hairstyle has not changed, and even the beard is looking like the facial hair is too much, right? Because here he was not supposed to have this much facial hair. He was supposed to have a very little like stubble beard, right? And here it looks way too much. Even the shape of the face looks odd here because, because it was at 50%, it did not change the shape. It's still giving me the same kind of shape of the face here. It's the same kind of face here. But at 80%, if you see, you're starting to get something similar to like the face shape, the beard, the hair, it almost looks similar to what we have as the reference here, right? So this is what happens when you inpaint something at 50% and when you inpaint something at 70 or 80%. Yeah. Now, let me know if this point was clear. If you understood why I was talking about inpainting something at 80% and not at 50%, right? Now, some of you might have this doubt in your mind that why exactly is there a need to inpaint something at 80%? Like, why can't I just inpaint everything at 50%? So, what exactly I'm talking about is, like, let's say you might think that, I can inpaint every image at 50% and I can keep this face consistent, right? Like, why is there a need for me to make this face consistent? Why should I, inpaint everything at 80% plus 25% retain composition? Why can't I just inpaint everything at 50% and make this face consistent throughout my shows or episodes? Now, the reason why this sometimes gives inconsistent images are because, let's understand this. So sometimes the celebrities itself are inconsistent. That is like, I don't have an example right now, but I know that sometimes few celebrities does not come with the right amount of, facial hair and stuff. So even the celebrities here, in one of the images, they will have like too much facial hair. In one of the images, they'll have less of a facial hair. The shape of the face might change, the color of the hair might change, like especially with the older characters. In one of the images it might look younger, in one of the images they might start looking too older, also with child characters. So stuff like these happen. Sometimes the celebrities are itself so inconsistent that if you start in painting everything at 50%, now if he has this much beard here, you're getting something like this. Now imagine if he has very less beard, you'll get something different from this, and it will start giving you inconsistent images, right? Second thing is the intensity of inpainting and the number of inpainting stuff. Now these 2 points I'll explain together. So now what happens is, imagine that two or three people, two or three artists are working on one show, right? Now one of the artist is using, like, let's say, in painting the faces at 40% intensity. Let's say one of the artists is in painting at 50% and one is in painting at 60%. So now all the three artists will somehow get, they are using the same celebrities, they are using the same oiler characters, but they will end up getting different final outputs in the 3 episodes, because all of them are using different intensities. Again, second thing is number of paintings done. So sometimes what happens is, we try as an AI artist, we sometimes paint one individual image or one individual characters 2 or 3 times, maybe to get a perfect, let's say, feature, maybe to get like, let's say, a particular expression, maybe to get a good quality. There are a lot of different reasons because of which we sometimes paint a image twice or thrice, right? So in those cases, what will happen now? Imagine this: you are painting one image at 50%, you're getting something like this, right? Now on top of this image, if you again paint like once, now imagine this same image, right? If you paint at 50% again using the same character, it will then turn this image into something like this. Now if you see, this is not exactly looking like this. Now the face shape has slightly changed. Like, it's not this, it's not this, it's somewhere in the middle. The hair is also starting to change. It's not exactly this, it's not exactly this, somewhere in the middle, right? Even the facial hairs, it's somewhere in the middle of this and this, right? So if you notice this, that if you do one more painting on the same image, again it will start changing the character to look more like the earlier character. So now imagine if you have twice, thrice, or like painted an image 4 times because of something. You're not getting the right expression, or someone is telling, okay, this is also one of the reasons. Someone points out that this character is inconsistent or this image is inconsistent, and you go back and paint the image once again. Now what happens is, you are supposed to give this kind of face, but now you have painted the face again, and now you're getting something more inconsistent. Right, you have painted this again, you'll get something more different, which will again be more inconsistent, because your coordinator or the producer is checking this image. They have this image in the mind, right? So now if you give them this, they will say that this is inconsistent, right? Because one image cannot look like this, one image cannot look like this. Either it has to be exactly like this, or it has to be exactly like this. But if you keep painting like more number of times on the same image, it'll start to make it look more like the Euler character, right? So this is one of the reasons why, we have a lot of issues in character inconsistency, because the more number of times you paint, it'll start to turn into the Euler character kind of image, but you wanted something like this, right? Also, one of the reasons of inconsistency is because sometimes what we do is, let's say some images where I just have to show a close-up of a face, or I have to just show a single character in the image. So instead of using the celebrity, maybe people just directly use the character here, Euler character, and make an image. So they'll be like, why should I, if I have to just show this image, right? Just the focus of face, instead of me writing a image, writing a prompt with the celebrity in it and getting the celebrity image and then painting it with the Euler character, I will just choose to use the Euler character directly and make an image, right? So again, it will start looking inconsistent, because one of the image where you use celebrities, it will give you an image like this, but the image where you directly used the Euler character will give you an image like this, which will again be very inconsistent, right? So all of these are the reasons why inconsistencies in an image happen, especially when we use a celebrity and imping it at 50%. Now the reason why all this should be solved if you paint something at 80% is because it at 80% you are trying to match it to your original Euler character. You're trying to get your original Euler character here, right? So no matter if you paint on this twice or thrice, or directly make an image using the Euler character, you'll always get consistent images. Because even if you use the celebrity and paint it at 80%, you're going to get the Euler character, or you have painted twice on this, again you'll get the Euler character, or you have directly used the Euler character, same thing. Right, so this is going to give you a consistent image, more consistent than this one, definitely. right? One of uh, the main things in a female character because of which inconsistencies happen is the hair. Because see, the face shape and stuff can still be fixed, right? But the hair is something because of which a lot of inconsistencies happen, because of the same reason. So now let's again see the same thing but for a female character. Now this is a celebrity and this is the other character. If you see, the celebrity here has, again, we need this kind of face or hair, right? So we need a blonde hair, we need a side parted hair, and we need like a long hair, right? We're getting something similar. We're getting a blonde hair, side parted, and long hair. Perfect. But I can see that the color of the hair is different. Like this is like a little bit in a whiter tone, this is a little bit in a yellower tone, right? So now also sometimes you might have noticed that female characters generally come with a very dramatic flying hair kind of thing, which sometimes look odd because they are sitting in a room and her hair is flying. It looks very odd, right? So all these kind of things make the image look odd or weird or inconsistent. So now imagine the same thing. I've used this image, painted this image at 50% intensity, I'm getting something like this. Like this is the result, right? Same thing at 80% plus 25 written composition, I'm getting something like this. Now, if you see this, if you see it like this, you will start to notice that here in these two images, let me keep it here. So this one was at 50%. This image is at 50% intensity. This is at 80% intensity. If you notice in this, like in both of these images, the face has almost changed. Like if you see, the face looks almost consistent. The shape of the face, the color, tone, eyes, nose, everything looks almost similar. But the hair is something that looks odd here. Because in the 50% one, we can see that it looks a bit more yellower tone, right? It's not giving me a whiter kind of tone, it's giving me a yellow kind of tone. Also, she has like way more straighter hair, but here it looks way more curlier and heavier hair, which again makes it look odd here because she was supposed to look like this, but now she's looking like this, right? But at 80%, you can see that again, it's not a very consistent hair, but at least you are not getting too yellowish kind of hair. You're getting something similar, and it's also starting to turn this curly hair into a bit more straighter hair, right? And same thing here, that you can keep this face or hair consistent, but imagine if you now used if you now use this image and painted on this once again, like at 50% or something, it will, you can see here the hair was yellower tone, but if I painted on this image once again, right, it's starting to turn it into a bit more whiter tone hair. It's something like this. So now again, it will be inconsistent. Now, if you see here, it will start looking inconsistent. And then people will point out that, okay, this is inconsistent. And then you'll go back and paint this again. It will again make an inconsistent image. So instead of that, just use or like paint the image at 80%. Let it, be more like the Euler character, but at least you'll get a consistent hair or face or anything, right? Because at 80%, it will start to turn anything that is here into this, as we saw in this, right? We can also turn a female character into a male character. So I can turn this celebrity into this very easily by keeping it at 80%, right? I'm not keeping it at 100% because I don't want it to completely change, or because at 100% sometimes even after putting the written composition, the pose might get affected, which I don't want. So 80% works. You can keep it at 90, 100. It also works. I generally keep it at somewhere between 70, 80. It gives me a good result, right? So same thing happens here, that in case if I use, paint the image at like 80%, no matter if I'm painting it twice or directly using the Euler character or thrice or doing anything on this image, it will not make it look odd, or it will not make it look inconsistent faces or hair, because we want this hair to be consistent, right? Also, sometimes a few of the celebrities, right, have inconsistencies in the hair, especially female characters, because sometimes they come with a shorter hair, sometimes in few of the images they'll have longer hair, sometimes the color of the hair might change, the style of the hair might change. Now this happens because one celebrity does not have like a particular limited hair. Like a lot of different celebrities keep a lot of different hairstyles for different movies or events or so. And because of that, we also get to see a lot of different kinds of hair even after writing one celebrity here. I have seen a lot of examples where one celebrity comes with shorter hair and in one image they'll come with longer hair as well. So in those cases, if you are in painting it at 80%, you don't have to worry about short, long. You're always going to keep this consistent. And it's very easy to keep it consistent. Right now, in case, now let's say here, if this is the image that you got at 80% in painting, but you don't want this hair to be like this flying. So now, just by painting this, you will not get a consistent hair. Like if I just go and paint it once again, it will still be flying in the air. So if you want like the hair to be not flying in the air, just use a magic eraser, remove of the hair from this, and then inpaint. So after you inpaint that, you'll get something like this. Like just paint on top of that and you'll get something like this, because now you have removed that flying hair from here. So you'll get something like this. Now this applies for anything you want in a hair that is not coming. Like let's say the hair is flying and you don't want it to fly. Like sometimes few of the celebrities come with too much of hair. Like they're not supposed to have too much hair, but they come with like too much hair. Or they sometimes few of the characters come with very little hair. So now, in case you want to change that, if it's like too much hair and don't want the hair to be like this, then use magic eraser, remove of the hair, and then paint. If the image has like too less of a hair, use the brush, use a paint brush, just randomly add like few strands of hair here and there very roughly, and then paint. Same thing goes with the partition. If you want a side parted hair and you're not getting that, you got a middle parted hair in the image, and if you're not getting a side partition by painting, then change. Use again the paintbrush, make a side parted hair, and then paint. Same thing goes with the length, style, color, anything. Just pick a brush, paint it, and then paint. Very simple to do, but people miss out on this point. Right? Also, sometimes if you feel like certain celebrities generally have this issue, like I have seen certain celebrities which have issue in partition. Like let's say this celebrity here was very like the partition was very okay, like she always comes with a side parted hair. But in case there is a celebrity where the partition is a problem, like out of 4 images, 2 images comes with middle parted hair and 2 images with a side parted hair, and you want a side partition because your Euler character is supposed to have side partition, then you can write your side parted hair. So while generating the images using the celebrity itself, just write side parted hair. So now your chances of getting a side partition will increase. Same thing with the length of the hair. If a character is supposed to have longer hair, but the celebrities sometimes come with long hair or sometimes with short hair, and you don't want short hair, so instead of choosing a short hair and then instead of choosing a short hair and then painting and making it long, just write in the prompt itself long hair, so that every time you get a long hair. It's if in case if you feel like there is an issue with the characters, do write it in the prompts itself. Right. Also, this is for people who plan for shows. So we have people who do plannings and stuff. So in case you feel like, right, let's say, I'll just I see something. Yeah, let's say this is a good example. So now, in case sometimes while planning for shows, you see something like this, where the celebrity, like the Euler character that is supposed, like you're supposed to use, has longer hair, but the celebrity that the character trainer has given you has a very weird hair, or like very different hair from what it's supposed to be. So now you know that every time you'll use this celebrity, it will be shorter hair, and every time you'll have to make it long and then inpaint to get this, because this will again sometimes be inconsistent, because if you inpaint on this image twice, it will start making it look longer. So in case you have something like this, please contact your character trainer and tell them to change this. Don't use images like these. Try to keep your Euler character and your celebrities as similar as possible. If the more similarity you'll see between your Euler character and your celebrity, the better results you'll get. The more differences you see there, the more inconsistencies will be there. So the same thing goes with the color of the hair, the style, and the length, especially for female characters. And for male characters, it can be the facial hair. If your other character is supposed to be like with, like let's say, if the other character is supposed to be like this, you cannot have a celebrity with beard here, because it will again make it very inconsistent images, and you'll have to edit all the images to get a consistent image. So in case you see something like this, contact your character trainer or contact your producer coordinator, let them know and let them fix this. Right? Okay. Now there is only one thing that I need to explain. Yes, yes, I've covered everything. So one small thing, but I've seen few people making this mistake. So generally we do three in paintings on an image, right? Like minimum three in paintings. We in paint the full body once. Like if this is my image, I'll in paint the full body once. Then I'll go for the head in painting. Now the head includes the face and the hair. Right? And third in painting I'll do for the hands. So I cannot skip anything. But while in painting anything here, don't use the celebrity name. So I've seen what people do is they will generate this image using celebrity, and they'll also do the full body in painting using celebrities. And then only for the face in painting, they will use this character. Now what happens because of this is you can see the difference in the color tones here, right? Let's say the color tone she is supposed to have and the color tone she is having is very different, right? So now if you inpaint the full body again with the celebrity, the color tone will again be a bit more yellowish tone. And then if you just inpaint the face here, the color tone will be very different, like something like this, which will look very odd. The hand color and the face color will be very different. So like don't use your Euler characters only to inpaint faces. Whenever you inpaint the whole body, use the Euler character as well, so that you end up, because you have once inpainted the whole body, it will start changing the color tones of the hand and the body as well. And then when you do the face inpainting, it will not look very odd, because you have already changed the color tones of the hand. So now when you just select this part, it will not look odd. Right? And if you have like longer necks like this, try to include this neck part while you're imprinting to get a better result, so that you don't get the linings like this. I've seen people making this mistake. They just select this part and then there are like weird linings here. This tone is very different and this tone is very different. This happens as well. Right, so I guess this is it for today.